My question is at the absolute level of experience, where there's a screen and apparently there's a light force or the sun is shining. Is this a place where if it's felt, if it's vibrating, is that a separate self? Am I going into the separate self, or is there a...
You mean if that is experienced in the body?
Yeah, is that again a feeling, a separate self, an imagination? Is it possible at the absolute level of experience that there is a felt projection into the being?
Let's not talk about the absolute level. Let's just talk about our experience. That yes, if you've gone to the heart of your experience and discovered what you truly are, that discovery will have an impact on the body and the mind. The impact that it will have will be to relieve the body and mind of their tensions and contractions. In fact, it's a gradual release of the tensions and contractions in the body-mind. And in the body, that relaxation is felt as a pleasant sensation. In the mind, it is experienced as an expanded state. So that is the effect on the body and mind that this recognition of our true nature has. The body becomes more open and relaxed. The mind becomes more empty and transparent. And that is felt. The sensation is felt. The state of mind is known. Pure awareness is which it's a result of going to our true nature, that these discovering that what we are is not temporary or limited, that releases the resistance and seeking, that knots up the body-mind. So, but the pure knowing is not known as a sensation or a state of mind, but it has an effect at the level of the body-mind that is expressed as sometimes as a wave of pleasant sensation. For instance, let me give you an example of that. In satsang, sometimes when we hear something, when we hear something and it takes us to our true nature, and that there's a recognition of what we are, sometimes the response at the level of the body is to cry, or to laugh, or you feel goose pimples, or that's an expression. Those tears or that laughter is like a knot in the body opening, and there's a relaxation. That's the body-mind being struck by this understanding. And a body-mind that is struck over and over again by this understanding begins to be, its natural state becomes more and more like awareness, in that it is open, empty, transparent, at peace. So there's an equanimity that comes in the body-mind, and not just an equanimity, but a kind of, it's first felt often as equanimity or peace in the body-mind, but in time it bubbles over as happiness or joy, which is actually felt at the level of the body and known at the level of the mind. But what the body and the mind are expressing at those times are the true peace and happiness of our true nature.
There was a time when you explained last week that sometimes the separate self, the mind structure, tries to appropriate from the awareness by pretending it's grabbing the essence of awareness.
Yes. Yes.
And I just wanted to know, with something that I'm challenged with, how that works.
You're wondering whether you're doing that, whether you're faking the piece of awareness. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, in a one particular challenge that I have.
Okay.
If the mind structure is trying to, you said there sometimes it can be slippery because the mind structure can appropriate awareness.
Yes. I think what I said or was referring to was that sometimes the mind can appropriate this teaching and use, for instance, the idea. Let's take the idea, everything appears in awareness. So, and everything is equally the same to awareness. So, when we first hear that, we could think, oh, yeah, of course, my thoughts appear in awareness, my sensations appear in awareness, my perceptions appear in awareness, my unhappiness appears in awareness, and my happiness appears in awareness. So we think, oh, my unhappiness is just appearing in awareness. Awareness doesn't just accept my unhappiness. And that would be an example, and it's very common on the contemporary Advaita scene, that would be an example of the ego appropriating the teaching. As we've just seen in the previous conversation, awareness doesn't know unhappiness. If we say, my happiness and my unhappiness appear in awareness, we just think unhappiness and happiness are two equal feelings that alternate, and they're objects that are known by awareness. If we think that, we're fooling ourselves, because we cannot be unhappy and stand as awareness at the same time. So although we've learnt the right words, everything appears in awareness, there's nothing to do, there's nobody there, etc., the fact that we are unhappy betrays the fact that we don't really know that. We still feel I am a limited self, and because of that feeling, we are still suffering. So that self, that limited suffering self that we, to be honest, feel ourselves to be, cannot say, oh, all this suffering appears in awareness. If we knew that, why are we still suffering? If we know that awareness accepts our suffering without resistance, why don't we accept the situation that is causing us to suffer? Yeah, my girlfriend's just left me, I'm miserable. Oh, but my misery is accepted by awareness. I know that awareness accepts my misery. Well, if we know that awareness accepts my misery, why doesn't awareness accept the fact that my girlfriend has left me? In which case I wouldn't be suffering. So there's a contradiction at the heart of this belief, oh, my unhappiness appears in awareness, there's nothing to do about it. We're just fooling ourselves. That is a classic case of the ego appropriating the non-dual teaching in order to perpetuate itself. If we're unhappy, it would be, and I'm not judging being unhappy, but it would be more honest, more courageous to face the unhappiness than to veneer an Advaita belief over it. To do that is no more subtle than going to the bottle or the fridge. It's just a spiritual version of avoidance. It's the same thing. Slightly healthier, and it's not illegal. It's not bad for our health, but it's, in the final analysis, it's the same thing. We're just using thought to avoid facing the reality of our experience, whereas before we're using a substance or an activity. There's not much to choose between them. In fact, if anything, choosing the substance or the activity is more honest. Because at least we're being honest. I'm unhappy and I'm trying to relieve it. There's more freedom in that possibility to explore it, rather than pretending that we accept our happiness. That is a position of deep inertia, which eventually cracks. We can't maintain that for long. It cracks and the suffering bubbles up again, and then we have an opportunity to face our suffering and to get real about it. To explore what is at its heart, rather than to explain it away with kosher, non-dual concepts.